In this video, you're going to learn 13 behind-the-scenes facts about the cartoon classic How the Grinch Stole Christmas. And without further ado, here's the facts. The 1966 cartoon adaptation of Theodore Ted Geisel, aka Dr. Seuss's How the Grinch Stole Christmas, was directed by animator Chuck Jones, who is famous for making Looney Tunes and Tom and Jerry cartoons. The creation story of the animated TV special goes back to World War II, when Ted Geisel wrote scripts for Private Snafu cartoons that Chuck Jones helped animate. Several years later, Jones approached the author about creating an animated version of his popular Christmas book. But at first, Geisel had no interest at all because he had already worked on a big flop called The 5,000 Fingers of Dr. T, and he didn't want to make that mistake again. What eventually won him over, though, was when he heard the lyrics to Welcome Christmas, which reassured him that the movie would have an authentic Seussian feel. The cartoon was filmed at 24 frames per second, which meant the animators had to make a new drawing every 2 frames in order to make the movement look smooth. This means there are 12 pieces of artwork for every second of film, and it took about 6 months to create more than 17,000 drawings to finish the whole cartoon. The Grinch was voiced by Boris Karloff, who is most famous for his portrayal of old movie villains such as the Frankenstein monster. Karloff was a gifted voice actor, but he wasn't much of a singer, so You're a Mean One, Mr. Grinch was sung by Thurl Ravenscroft, aka Tony the Tiger.
They're great!
And he nailed the performance of the Grinch's famous theme song after only a couple takes.
You're a rotter, Mr. Grinch.
Tony Award winner Albert Hague wrote the music for the Grinch, and while he was being considered for the job, he had Ted Geisel come to his house to hear his ideas. The day of the meeting, Albert played him just one chorus of Mr. Grinch, and when he was finished, Ted said, "Anyone that can slide an octave on the word Grinch gets the job." The sounds of a movie world, especially an animated one, can come from sources that are much different than what we see on screen.
Do it then, so could the Grinch.
For example, the sound of the Grinch sawing Max's antlers were made with a violin. The sound of the Grinch's footsteps in the snow were made from the sound of someone eating potato chips.
When he came to the first little house on the square.
And the sound of the bags plopping on the roof were made from the sound of someone taking bites of an apple.
Then he stuffed all the food up the chimney with glee.
Some interesting parallels between Dr. Seuss and the Grinch suggest that he saw a little bit of a Grinch in himself.
I must stop Christmas from coming.
The Grinch is 53 years old and lives on Mount Crumpet, which overlooks the noisy commercialist town of Whoville.
All the noise, 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 noise.
Compare that with Dr. Seuss, who was 53 when he wrote the book, and at the time he lived up on Mount Soledad in Southern California that overlooks the ritzy La Jolla suburb. Dr. Seuss isn't the only one who saw the Grinch in himself, because Chuck Jones incidentally sketched the Grinch to carry some of his own facial features, such as his eyebrows and smile. When a story is diagrammed, the events leading up to and after the climax look like the peak of a mountain. And coincidentally, the Grinch's climactic moment happens to take place at the peak of Mount Crumpet. If you want to learn more behind-the-scenes facts about other Christmas movies, such as the Grinch movie starring Jim Carrey, or The Nightmare Before Christmas, click on one of the videos you see on the screen. And don't forget to subscribe by clicking the round logo to learn more fun facts about your favorite films.